Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and thank you for joining me today on this movie review question mark. I don't know. I know nothing about movies other than I like to watch them. I'm not a critic, so anything I say today, feel free to just ignore and go see the movie. If you like seeing movies and you don't think I'm smart enough to tell you what you should and shouldn't like, you're right. But today, I'm going to talk to you about Ad Astra, starring Brad Pitt and Tommy Lee Jones and a bunch of other people, but they're the two biggest names, so obviously they were the attention grabbers. Just like they grabbed my attention when I first saw the trailer. I was watching something on an IMAX screen, and the Ad Astra trailer came up, and it looked like this fantastical space adventure spanning several planets and a war in the stars. Don't copyright me, Disney. Um, so it just looked fantastic, and it looked like you would have stunning visuals and exotic scenes, exotic settings, and just fun. It just looked like it was going to be a fun, mind blowing movie. And then I saw it. Now I'm not an expert when it comes to movies, but I fell asleep. Not gonna lie, I so boring. I went in with not really high expectations, really, because I don't really give many movies high expectations these days, so I don't let myself down. But I was just expecting to hold my interest, and I don't think the runtime is that long. I think it's like 2 hours. So I was just expecting it to easily hold my interest for 2 hours, and guess who was wrong? This guy. So, that being said, I'm going to talk about the plot. I'm going to talk about the settings. I'm going to talk about the visuals. I'm going to talk about the ending. So, spoiler warning now. If you plan on seeing this movie and you have high hopes for this movie, or you just don't want to hear me complain, that's fine. Click away from this video, or if you want to do me a big favor, watch this video after you see the movie, and then we can compare notes. How about that? Send me an email. Um, Starting the movie off, Brad Pitt, he is I almost said an engineer, but I guess that would be kind of correct. He's an astronaut who just kind of does whatever suits him that day. It doesn't seem like it's also set in the future a little bit, so I guess the job he has, I just don't know about it. But basically, he works for the government. I believe he's in the military, and he does whatever they need him to do. The movie opens up with him on like this Space Needle antenna thing protruding from the Earth that we are using to try and contact alien life somewhere, because everybody's convinced that there is life out there. Now, I don't know what your personal beliefs are, but for me, I think it's hard to believe that we're alone in the universe, seeing as how massive the universe is. You can't even comprehend it. But at the same time, you'd think somebody would have reached out by now if they were alive and had the same amount of... Well, whatever. Anyway, back to the movie. So Brad Pitt I think his name's Roy or something. I'm terrible with names, so it probably doesn't help with the whole movie review thing. But Captain Corporal Brad Pitt is on the Space Needle, and he's just taking a spacewalk when when a power surge happens, and it starts blowing apart this International Space Needle thing. And there are astronauts flying off into space and falling to Earth and yada, yada, yada. And Brad Pitt, I think, defies commands and tries to save the thing by cutting the power to everything so the power surge can't continue going. Doesn't stop it. It blows him off the thing, and he falls to Earth. Now, the problem I had here is, oh shit, he's falling now. How are they going to save him? Well, basically, nothing happens. He's literally in space. Like, the way they make it seem is, because if you're in space and you fall through the Earth's atmosphere, you burn up. Like, you just get burned into atoms because atmosphere. I don't know if they're trying to explain that he wasn't that far up. He was just far up enough where there was no oxygen, which, okay, that's fine, but still a little bit confusing. So anyway, he jumps to save himself, and he just starts free falling towards the earth, and he's in a wicked whiplash thing, and he ends up pulling his parachute and making it. Kind of no problem. And he's just cool. Now, I'm not going to go into every scene with this kind of detail, but this one is very important to set the tone for the rest of the movie. For the rest of the movie, it's said that after his horrible accident, the military calls him in and explains to him, this is why this happened. And your resting heart rate, or your excited heart rate, has never gone above 80. Ever. In your entire life, you've never got more excited than 80 beats per minute. So you're the calmest, most collected, I don't know, human, like, out there. You are so calm, and you have the opposite of what the movie wanted. Those people, they can slow down time because their heart beats so fast. Yeah, that, you have the opposite of that. You are so collected at all times, it's basically just like, you don't need weed, dude. So, he's like, yes, sir, I try, and he's very Brad Pitt about it, and it's great. So I figure, okay, cool, this is going to be very interesting, especially for a movie, because we're going to have to work our ass off to get him to show any kind of emotion, anything crazy, because the movie also kind of opens with showing you that he got a divorce, or he is getting a divorce, or his girlfriend is leaving him, or something, because of his lack of emotion and lack of connection to her, or something. They don't go into super high detail or anything like that. But anyway, so they tell him the reason why the surge happened, and it's his father, or they believe that it's his father, who 20-some years ago went out in a spaceship with an antimatter cannon long-range communication device, something like that. And they sent him out further than any crew, because he had a crew, had ever gone before. And they needed to get past Neptune, out of the range of our sun's radiation field, so he could try and contact alien life. And because they believe that the sun was creating too much interference, and somehow his father, they think, is still alive and creating these power surges that are just wreaking havoc on the entire universe, and anything in the universe in like less than a couple of years or something will just explode because of electricity. So we need to stop him. Makes sense. Kind of goofy. Why would his dad still be alive? Because it's Tommy Lee Jones, who's already like, looks like he's 80 when he's like 35. So when he leaves at the age of the ripe old age of 80, and then 20 some odd years has gone by, he still looks the exact same, just with a beard now. I don't know. It's a goofy premise to me, because why would he still be alive? I don't know. To me, it would have made more sense if they were like, well, we don't think your father's still alive, but the ship he was on with the antimatter thing that's wreaking havoc, we think that that's still drifting somewhere in space, and it's like, it's gonna... we need somebody to go out and stop that machine, not your father. So, long story short, they end up sending Brad Pitt into space on a secret mission. He's got to go to the moon, and from the light side of the moon, he's got to go to the dark side of the moon, where they have another rocket ship, and that rocket is going to take him to Mars. And when he gets to Mars, they have the longest range rocket that can take him all the way to Neptune, where his father potentially is. Now, he is hooked up with another 85-year-old man. I forget the name of the actor, but it's a fairly famous actor, very good actor. I like him in everything I've seen him in. And they go together to the moon, and on the moon, they are, well, first of all, on the trip to the moon, it's a pretty long trip, so they start discussing what this mission is all about and what it means, and yada, yada, yada. And the old man starts telling Brad Pitt about his father and how he knew his father and how his father got kind of corrupted and kind of went crazy with space madness, quote unquote. That's another big deal that's going to play in later that they don't explain very well. So they get to the moon finally after explaining stuff, and just the old man is kind of getting a read on Brad Pitt to see if he's just another corporate yes man or if he's his own person, if he's his father's son. I guess he proves himself enough over the course of the moon, because they get to the moon and they have to get to the dark side of the moon, but apparently there's pirates on the moon. Sounds incredibly fun and exciting, and it's not. It's just not. I don't know. There's a high-speed car chase thing on the moon with lasers and explosions and people getting shot in the brain. And it's just not fun. It's just not exciting. It's not visually kind of cool because it just is. It's in space. So if you like space, if you like just anything related to space like me, it was like, oh, that's cool. But it's over in like 3 minutes, and that's the most excitement in the entire movie. The entire movie. It was 3 minutes of a car chase that didn't make sense with pirates that you don't meet or you don't know anything about them. And then the small explanation they gave for the pirates were, well, they're trying to kidnap people and steal the buggies on the moon because they're obviously very expensive. But all they do is just fire rockets at these things and just slaughter everyone on board and then destroy the ships, or the buggies. They're not trying to get anything out of this. They're not trying to make money. They're just trying to kill people. And it just makes no sense to me. So anyway, they get through. I think Brad Pitt and the old man are literally the only two people that survive the moon encounter because of Brad Pitt's calm, collective thinking and dead-eye laser shots. Like halfway across the moon, he just domed some people with a laser. Which looks like a tin can on a stick, by the way. The laser guns in this movie look stupid. I don't know what they're supposed to look like in real life, but in this one they look dumb. That's just my thoughts and piece. So they finally make it and finds out the old man that is escorting Brad Pitt, that we have been told he cannot complete this mission without this old man. If this old man is not with Brad Pitt, he will never make it to Neptune. He will never make it to his father. He will never, ever be able to accomplish his mission. Guess what? The old man can't go on. He's having heart trouble or something. I don't know. They don't really say. Just like, I can't go on. And then he pulls this necklace that he's been tucked into a spacesuit. And I guess it's like a futuristic flash drive. And he gives it to Brad Pitt and says, hey, you need to look at this. You're going to be in danger. As soon as you look at this information, they're going to be after you. And Brad Pitt takes it without showing any emotion. He's like, okay, I'm going to go on then. And then he goes on and he completes the mission without the old man, who we've been told, you can't complete this without the old man. So what the heck? So he boards another ship from the dark side of the moon going to Mars. He meets some the new captain and crew of the ship that he's on now. It's 4 people, captain, co-captain, and then I guess 2 engineers, or I don't know what they're called, but it's a crew of 4 plus Brad Pitt, 5. He's hitching a ride. He is not able to tell them what mission he's on because it's super duper top secret. And the captain, as they're floating towards Mars, the captain gets a distress call, and they, according to like their law or something, they have to respond to a distress call. And if they don't, then I guess they'll be in trouble or something. I don't know. I don't really understand it. But Brad Pitt basically chimes up, and he is like, no, we can't. I'm sorry. We cannot stop for this. We need to go to Mars. We have to go no matter what. There's another vessel that will pass by this distress call within the next soon. I don't think he gives an exact time, but there will be someone else to help these people. We're on a top secret mission. We have to go right now. And the captain of the ship says no. We have to do this. You are welcome to take control of my ship, Brad Pitt. But in doing so, you legally have to tell me what the mission is. And nobody in the world knows about Brad Pitt's father or the Surge origin or I forgot what the Lima project or something like that. They don't know about the antimatter thing that's causing the surge. Nobody knows. So he's like, screw it. Okay, we'll go. So they end up going, and the co-captain is a giant puss. He does not want to stop. He's scared. Brad Pitt makes a comment. He's scared. He's whatever. And they get to the distress call, and the captain is going to just spacewalk over to it and open the hatch of the... I guess it's a ship. I don't know what it is. But he's going to check it out. So Brad Pitt's like, okay, well, I'll go because your co-captain is too much of a pussy to go. So I'll go and I'll help you. And I'll accompany you. So they go in there. It's a pretty tense scene. Because it gives me vibes of an old, like, xenomorph alien movie. Like, I'm expecting some crazy stuff to happen because nobody's answering. It was a distress call that happened like 30 minutes ago, and now it's radio silence. That's creepy, especially in space. Oh my god, what could be happening? It's so crazy. It's a research vessel, so they were messing with some scientific stuff, and now it's dead silent. So exciting. They get on board. They're looking around. They don't see any signs of life. They don't see any signs of anything, really. And then they decide to split up. Great idea, I know. And Brad Pitt goes in one direction, and the captain goes in another direction. And Brad Pitt finds, down a long corridor, he finds just a dead body. Just a body with, I think, the face. They're all dressed in their uniforms with the giant dome astronaut helmets and everything. So he just finds one of those, like, cracked open and just blood everywhere. So you're like, oh no, there's some crazy alien that's happening or something. And then he hears the captain. He calls it out to the captain that he found a dead body, and the captain's not answering now. So Brad Pitt turns around. He's like, oh no, I'm so scared. And he goes down the hallway, and you just see the back of the captain and blood coming out of his face in 0G. So obviously his face mask is smashed. And this is the moment. This is the moment of the movie. And it's like, oh my god, that's terrifying. 0G, something is eating his face right now. Oh no, what's going to happen? And then it tilts a little bit, and it's a monkey. Just a monkey. Just a baboon who somehow punched his way through an astronaut's helmet and started clawing the guy's face out, and he killed everyone on board. Just a monkey. So Brad Pitt pulls out his laser pistol and shoots him. I think another monkey comes out. He shoots that one, and he pulls the captain's body back because he thinks he's still alive. And goes back to the ship and gets some medical treatment. And again, the whole time, his heart rate did not go above like 70 or 80 because he's so calm. And it was a scary scene. But again, I know this is supposed to be firmly grounded in reality. But it was so very, very, very boring. You can't have some kind of like a weird mutated monkey, or just they were playing God too much and they created something that was like unstoppable or something for like an entire crew. Like if this monkey took out an entire crew and Brad Pitt was like, oh yeah, I got this. 2 laser shots. Dead. Gone. That's it. And it's like, alright. So he's getting a captain medical treatment, and it turns out the captain died. So Brad Pitt can't take control of the ship, otherwise he has to reveal the mission objectives. So the co-captain, the giant puss, takes over and gets them to Mars. And as they're landing, the co-captain screws up, or there's another surge, and the co-captain cannot take manual control of the ship because he's so scared that he almost kills everyone on board. So Brad Pitt has to take command for 1 second, lands the ship safely, and then basically says to the guy, hey, you're a little bitch. You shouldn't be here. I'm not going to tell anybody about this, but just know that you don't belong here. Kind of a dick move, but I get it, because he just put his life in jeopardy. So whatever, they get to Mars, and the co-captain and the other two members of the crew, they get off, and Brad Pitt gets off, and they're going to meet the people on Mars who are going to send a long-range uh, uh, satellite transmission. I think I told you earlier that there was a rocket ship on Mars that was going to take them to Neptune. I apologize. There's actually a radio station on Mars that can send a transmission so far that it can reach Neptune. It can reach his father. So that's the whole reason they're there. So Brad Pitt goes, he meets these people, he tries, and he tries again, and he tries like basically once a day, and he hears nothing from his father because he's just basically spouting a corporate message that was built and constructed to, and I'm paraphrasing here, but they said it will be formulated to not create any kind of negative response whatsoever. So it's just, hello, father. This is your son, Brad Pitt. The correlation of the human race would like to request that you... It's boring. Boring. You remember that guy from the Clear Eyes commercial? The super boring dude? Got red eyes? Like that super monotone guy? It's that, except Brad Pitt saying it, so it doesn't really make any sense. So they do that 3 or 4 days, and then over the course of these days, Brad Pitt is just like slowly losing his mind. He goes to relaxation rooms, which I guess is just a waiting room, except there's dolphins on the walls and stuff to calm you down. And he's just like slowly like punching walls and stuff because the captain of the ship, or I should say the co-captain of the ship that brought them from the moon to Mars, was giving out mood stabilizers to fend off the space madness, and everybody was taking them, and it's just like a normal everyday thing. And Brad Pitt was not taking them. He was taking the pill and putting it in his backpack. I guess he thinks he doesn't need them or something. So I guess it's supposed to imply that he's slowly going mad, but if it's been 80 days for them, to us, the audience, it's been about 12 minutes. And it's not explained very well. So it just looks like the most calm, collected human being on the face of the earth. Brad Pitt. He just snapped. Like, for no reason. He's just like, I'm bored now. I'm going to punch brick walls. And so he starts, like, snapping. And then he goes back into the recording booth. And instead of spouting off the corporate BS again, he sends his father his own message. Which was just, here you go, Dad. This is me. I've been trying to get in contact with you. I miss you. I remember when we used to play together as kids and how you used to like be an astronaut and you abandoned your family to do this, and I forgive you because I did the same thing, and I'm your son, and yada yada yada. And then they wait, and then they wait, and then they wait, and then it turns out that his father got in contact with the base or something. So, but then they say that, well, Brad Pitt, you're no longer fit for duty because you snapped, and he did. So I get it. So he snapped, goes on, does his own thing, like he goes, he goes to his room and just like, well, I'm screwed now. I can't do anything. So he's like, so the director lady of the Mars long range radio comes in and she plays him a tape for that coincides with the top secret USB drive that the old man gave Brad Pitt. And it's basically just like, it shows that all the rest of the crew that were on the ship of Tommy Lee Jones, they did not discover alien life, and they've been away for years and years and years. And Tommy Lee Jones went insane and killed them all. Sounds really interesting, right? Like that's a really crazy serial killer final boss battle that might happen here. So Brad Pitt's like, I have to go. I have to get him. So he sneaks aboard that same ship that brought Brad Pitt to Mars. He sneaks aboard that when they're about to take off. And he announces his presence. He's like, hey guys, I boarded your ship. I'm on the ship. We're already in space. We took off. I'm not hostile. I have no hostile intentions. Please do not attack me. It's okay. The whole time, Command is talking to this crew, and they're like, kill him, kill him, kill him. Do not disobey me. Kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. For no reason. Just kill him, kill him, kill him. So they immediately just all turn around with guns, or knives and shit, and they just try and kill Brad Pitt. Just zero hesitation. The guy who saved their lives getting to Mars, they just try and kill him. So it turns out, like, I don't think Brad Pitt actually killed a single person. The lady, who was not the co-captain, one of the members on board, she came at him with a gun, but the thrusters kicked in, so suddenly she got launched to the back of the spaceship and, like, cracked her head open, died instantly, which, that's nuts and wouldn't really happen in real life. And then the other guy, who's not the co-captain, starts a knife fight with Brad Pitt until the co-captain grabs a gun and starts shooting at them, misses, hits a poison gas. I don't know what the gas is, but he hits a gas tank that releases poison into the air, and the crew that was already on board was already, like, in their comfortable clothes, so they were not wearing oxygen masks or anything like that. Brad Pitt was wearing his full space gear because he was outside on Mars sneaking into this thing. So they suffocate to death and die, and Brad Pitt is just like, he sends a message to Command that basically just says, well, they died. It's my fault. It's 100% my fault. They died. So I take responsibility. When it wasn't. It's stupid. They tried to attack you. They tried to kill you. You begged them not to. You didn't kill anyone. And why are you still sending messages to Command? They're the ones that told them to kill you. Why are you still on the corporate side of stuff? I don't know. Another stupid movie plot point that I don't get. It's just boring. So then I'm just going to skip over the very, very long, very, very boring flight sequence from Mars to Neptune. He finally finds the ship that his father is supposed to be in, and he gets on the ship and finds his dad. Like, his dad's there. He's there to blow it up with a nuclear device because it's wreaking havoc on the universe. And just as he's about to arm the nuclear device, his dad is there. And he's just like, son, is that you? Yeah, it's me, Dad. How you doing? Oh, just lonely. Just trying to fix this stupid problem. Okay. So he goes up to talk to his dad, and he's like, hey, Dad, so it's been a while. Haven't seen you. Haven't heard from you. And just out of the blue, the dad, Tommy Lee Jones, he literally says the words, I never cared about you or your mother. I abandoned you to go on the space mission because that was always my plan. So I don't know why I had a kid in the first place. Thanks for coming this whole way, but I don't care about you. Okay. It's, again, just such a strange choice for dialogue options, and it's just so weird. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand the relationship there. Just them talking, again, was just boring. It's supposed to be this tension-fueled, like, this is the reason that Brad Pitt went insane. He started talking about his dad, and he started thinking about his dad and everything that happened, and he went nuts, and, like, he failed his psych evals, and it's just boring. He finally meets him. He's like, oh, it's okay, Dad. Yeah, I know. It's okay. Boring. Stupid. Poorly written, I guess? I don't know. So he suits his dad up into his space gear, and he's like, well, Dad, all right, I'm going to rescue you. And we're going to go back to my ship. And then we're going to nuke this one because it's wreaking havoc across the universe. Okay, fine. So he puts his space gear on. And literally, as soon as they get outside, Tommy Lee Jones activates his space jetpack thing and pulls Brad Pitt away from the thing. He's like, I want to die. Just let me die. Just let me go. And so now they're hurling through space, which is, again, terrifying. And he's just like, let me go. Let me die. You don't have to die too, or whatever. And he lets him go. And my question is why? Why the hell did you just pull your son? Even if you don't care about your son, it's still your son, and you told him that you had some admiration for him and his dedication to the mission. So what was the point of dragging him out into the middle of space away from, like, not touching anything? Why were you trying to kill him too? If you want to kill yourself, all you had to do was unclip your belt or just take off your helmet. Anything. There are 100 options to kill yourself, but not your son. And you chose the only one that would endanger your son also. It just doesn't make sense, and it's stupid. And Brad Pitt lets him go, sheds a tear for a second, as you would, goes back to his father's ship because it's closer than his ship because he parked around the asteroid belt and took an escape pod, but the escape pod's gone now. He tears off a piece of the wing of his father's ship and uses it as a shield to protect himself from the asteroid belt or asteroid ring around Neptune to get to his own ship. And he finally gets to his own ship, and he uses the nuclear explosion to propel him towards Earth so he can get back with his father's data that he collected about planets. There was no signs of intelligent life. There are no aliens out there, but he got data and information about all these planets that nobody's ever seen or heard of before. So Brad Pitt knows that people need to see this. It's important. It's important data. So he brings it back to Earth, lands, military comes, gets him, and that's basically the end of the movie. That's it. I have seen a live broadcast of a NASA spacewalk, and it was more exciting than this movie. It was a 7-hour live stream or something. You want excitement? You want the same level of excitement as what is in this movie? Watch that Red Bull guy take the balloon super high up into the atmosphere, and he skydives. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see, like when it happened, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. But imagine if that short 3 or 4 minute fall and then parachute, imagine if you had to watch the 2 hours of him rising in the balloon and just a camera floating out into space. Because that's the same effect as Ad Astra. 2 minutes of excitement followed by 2 hours of boredom. I almost fell asleep. I do not walk out of movies. Unless it's so god-awful bad that I want to pull my hair out. I do not want to walk out of movies. I considered walking out of this movie because it was so boring. Not because it was a terrible, terrible movie, but because I was just so bored. And the visuals were not stunning. I kept thinking, oh, well, the story's bad, but maybe it'll be like Blade Runner 2049 or whatever it's called. The newer Blade Runner. Maybe it'll be like that, where the story doesn't make a lick of sense, but the visuals are beautiful and stunning, and I want to live in this world. No! I don't want anything to do with this world. It's so boring. I'd rather rocket myself into space wearing a t-shirt and jeans than do any of this crap. It's so boring. So, that is my explanation, review, bitching about, whatever you want to call it, of Ad Astra. I hope you liked the video. I hope you guys watch it. I hope you guys go watch and see for yourselves and argue with me in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me it's a great movie. Tell me you agree with me. It doesn't matter. You form your own opinions. I'll form my own opinions. And if you guys like this video, give me a like. So don't forget to subscribe, because I promise there will be more of these, because I really like doing this. I like being a not movie critic. It's kind of fun. I like talking about movies with people. So that being said, thank you guys for joining me on this little space adventure, and I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll see a more exciting movie next time, and I'll have good things to say. Bye, everybody.